This is the one that started off the card, bro. I listen. We need to talk about that. Let's get straight into it, man. Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. We both had different arguments coming into this fight. Your argument was very much the same as mine, and I said Alonzo Menifield touches you once, and it's bad. It's not good news. They call him atomic for a reason. I said, but look at what Jimmy Crute does to these guys, man. Look at what he did to the Modestas Bukowskises of the world. Look at what he does when he can get in on that blast double. His grappling is phenomenal, right? Like, look at all of that. And I feel like that was the story of this fight. Jimmy Crute came out strong, got dropped terribly, was probably out on his feet for like 2 of those 3 rounds, literally like knocked out, walking just instinct survival mode. But what's the one thing about a high-level grappler who's in survival mode is they can grapple in their sleep, bro. You could be knocked out and still grapple this dude, and that's exactly what he did to Alonzo Menifield. I'm going to pull up the numbers really fast, man, and you tell me, basically, what you think about this. But in the meantime, while I'm getting them pulled up, man, do you think that Alonzo Menifield, and this is just a very just like off-the-cuff conversation right here. I want just pure opinion and emotional reaction, not logical. Alonzo Menifield's damage to Jimmy Crute versus all of the submission attempts Jimmy Crute put on Alonzo Menifield, the takedowns, being able to control. What matters more in the grand scheme of things?
I would say the damage, because long-term damage speaks a lot more volumes than some dude who tried to choke you out. Like you can wake up from a choke and be completely fine, but the power that Alonzo Menifield had, and all credit to Jimmy Crute, because like you said, he was out for 2 of 3 of those rounds, if not 2.5. So this dude has some serious dog in him, and good and a bad thing, man, because that's it's going to be rough. He woke up today with a massive headache, ears ringing, just in pain. So yeah, credit to Jimmy Crute, and on a draw too. Man, that sucks.
But we need to talk about why. So first, let's talk about these numbers, right? So the numbers stand, we're looking at Jimmy Crute lands 31 of 62 significant strikes. Alonzo Menifield 56 of 83, but he did knock Jimmy Crute down twice. Not just a knockdown. I feel like there should be an extra category for he knocked that boy down, right? However, look at the takedown: 6 of 12 for Jimmy Crute, 3 submission attempts, and a couple of those, man, were deep, bro. Deep. Like they're saying this fight might be over right here. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's really all I wanted to bring up right there. When it comes down to it, you're looking from a straight numbers perspective. Even from this perspective, yeah, Alonzo Menifield should absolutely win this fight. However, I'm really glad. Let me see. Does it show me who's refereeing this fight? Yes, Mark Goddard. Shout out to you, Mark Goddard, because you did the right thing. Jimmy Crute fighting for his fucking life here, man. He grips around Alonzo Menifield. He's like, I got to take this man down. I have to. He tries to start initiating, and Alonzo Menifield grabs a handful of cage. And what does Mark Goddard do immediately? He grabs him, walks him to the center of the cage, and said, that's a point, bro. You can't do that. I like that. Let's stop this warning nonsense, bro. You stopped that takedown because you grabbed the fence. That's a point. He should have had the dominant position, and maybe he would have choked him out. Who knows? But you lose a point, and you won the first 2 rounds to then getting 10-8'd because you lost the 3rd round because Jimmy Crute grinded you out because somehow this dude woke up from being a zombie in round 3 and just turned back into the regular Jimmy Crute. So you get 10-8'd in round 3, and you lose, or you don't lose. It's a majority draw, but you lost a fight that you should have won. You should have won. In all metrics, you should have won the fight. So first off, let's talk about 2 things. The first thing that I want to mention is that minus 230 for Jimmy Crute. In hindsight now, should this been closer to a pick'em?
Yeah. Maybe still Jimmy Crute is the favorite. 150, still in that range, but a lot closer than minus 230 for sure.
Okay. And then number 2, this was a draw, but you have to think both of these dudes won in their own different respective ways. Alonzo Menifield, there's no doubts any longer, man. Like this dude, yeah, he had a couple little weird ups and downs, right? But at this point now, you're like, this dude can hang. He can hang for all 3 rounds. He got grinded out round 3, man. But if he touches you, man, not everybody is Jimmy Crute that could walk through that stuff. A lot of these guys would have been done, right? And then if you're Jimmy Crute, injuries aside, knee injury, all that, you're back, baby. You are back. Let's clean it up. Let's be a little less reckless. Let's clean up your boxing a little bit. But everything else is on point. So you tell me, man, on both sides, how do you feel about Menifield? How do you feel about Crute?
Yeah, no, I agree with both of those. The one little bit of pushback, Menifield still needs, he can go all 2.5 rounds. That last, maybe even 1.5, because that last little bit, Jimmy Crute really started to come back. And if you want to go all the way, you got to get to 5 rounds. You're telling me Menifield is going to make it past 3? Not a chance right now, man. That dude was gasping for air. And I mean, it comes at I'm trying to think like it. Diminishing returns, all those
Sure.
muscles for all that gas tank
Yep.
is
Yep.
he's gonna have a long problem. But like you said, a lesser man would have been knocked cold unconscious and
That's right.
waking up back in the room. Jimmy Crute just has an indomitable will and an iron chin, which is
Mm-hmm.
also kind of his downfall because now he needs a little bit more head movement. And if he can
Yeah.
get that head movement, have the defensive strategy, and stay sound in his technique, then we're going to see good things come out of there. So there's a little bit of both that need improvement, but I
Yeah.
think both of these guys are serious contenders here in the next year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna pull this up real quick, man, because this just had me a little astonished when I'm looking at it, man. Look at this. So yeah, you're seeing you're seeing actually draws, that's the majority, and I'm really glad that that is. But then you get a couple of those people that it's just like Crute 29, 27. In what world? What, could he got a couple
In,
takedowns? Like,
in the casual world, Derek. And honestly, when I saw the fence grab and the point taken, I put it on Twitter. I was like, that is huge
yeah,
because I can see how somebody would want to rob Menifield of this win. I'm not surprised anymore, man. I am not
yeah,
shocked anymore when things like this happen because that is ludicrous. The fact that somebody thought that Crute won that after losing those first 2 rounds. Yeah, I draw. I get it. He 10-8. Yeah, that's how it goes. And I feel like for grabbing the fence, you lose half your pay. Don't grab the fence, bro. It's a great lesson to learn. Don't
absolutely.
cheat. So
Yeah.
it kind of all unfolds as it should. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried to rob Menifield of that or that loss.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me because I was watching the fight, rooting for Jimmy Crute because I picked him to win, obviously, and still was just like, all right, bro, you got to find a way to dig this one out, man. Like when I saw that point taken away, I was like, oh, here we go, here we go. All right, maybe we could save it. Maybe we could save it with the draw. But there's not one point of that fight where I was all like, oh, yeah, Jimmy Crute's got this in the bag. The dude was a walking zombie for 2 rounds, bro. Like, come on. Shout out to both of these fighters. This was an incredible fight, and this is definitely going to be on my list for fight of the year, one of the fights of the year.